excited today because I am not alone. I've got Izy Hossack with me.
Hello!
Izy is a blogger extraordinaire, writer, food stylist, food photographer. I mean, you've got 2 cookbooks, you've had a blog going since how long?
2011.
And Izy's in the kitchen today to teach me how to make cinnamon rolls.
Of course. It's my favourite recipe.
Should we get cracking?
Let's do it.
650 grams.
Yeah. Strong white flour, teaspoon of salt in there as well. In bread, the salt does a few things. So it retards the yeast, so it means that it doesn't your dough just doesn't go like crazy. And also it strengthens the gluten. So it's actually kind of vital for bread to put salt in. And that's why it seems like there's loads of salt in it. But it's actually like a needed thing. Science, guys.
Baking is a science.
It is. Get some easy bake yeast. This stuff you can just mix straight into the flour. You don't have to dissolve it in water first, so you could just mix it straight in. And also, it's good that you've mixed the salt into the flour, because if you put salt in contact with yeast, it can kind of kill the yeast, so you don't want to do that.
Right?
Yeah. So if you mix that in.
You're giving more information in this one video than I've done in like 2 years of the channel. This is what happens when you actually study food.
Now we've got 100 grams of just plain granulated white sugar. Now if you just make a little well in the middle for your wet ingredients.
Lovely.
Eggs
Thank
in.
you. You went one-handed.
I'm just showing you up today, Katie.
Get out. Okay, so we've got 250 mils of milk here that's just been warmed. What sort of temperature are we looking for?
Basically, it should be that if you stick your finger in, it should only feel slightly warm. It should be like kind of body temperature. Because if it's too hot, then it's going to kill your yeast. So there's like a couple of things that will murder your yeast, and you don't want that to happen, really.
Am I about to murder our yeast? Is that a little bit too warm?
No, it's good, it's good.
Yes. Straight into the well.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely. 60 grams melted butter.
Yep. So now we can stir.
Right, okay, kneading time.
So we just got some more flour. Just sprinkle some of that down. Let's tip this out.
Yeah. And what are we looking for, quite a sticky dough? Oh, it's lovely and warm.
Yeah, so at the moment it will be quite sticky. As you need, it will get a little bit smoother. It won't stick as much to the surface. And just like keep flouring it as much as you need to, really. I can teach you about kneading.
Oh yes, teach me about kneading. So I was just prodding it.
So,
right,
well,
talk to me.
I just mean like the science behind the kneading. So what you're doing is you're stretching it out, and then you're folding it back over, and then you're like stretching out again. Gluten is like a series of proteins. So in bread, you've got these ones that are gliadin and glutenin. Gliadin is like a circular one, and glutenin are these strands. Okay. So what you're doing when you're kneading is that you're kind of tangling up the glutenin strands into this network, and you get these covalent bonds forming between them.
Yep.
And so that's what the salt strengthens, those covalent bonds. And then the gliadin particles are trapped in between. And then that means that you've got this network, so that when the yeast start making their carbon dioxide, you get this huge like expansion, and the network holds it all. So that's how the bread rises. Right, I think this is done.
Look how beautiful that is.
Nice and smooth. And so you can like lift it up off the surface, and it's not like leaving residue. So.
Okay, so now it's got to have some proving time.
Yes, 1 to 2 hours. It depends on how warm your house is.
So shower cap keeps that moisture on, and it's reusable.
Exactly.
Joyous.
Win-win.
Right, we're going to put this aside.
Yeah.
We're going to do a time pan.
Ooh.
And yeah, we'll see you in a couple of hours. So our dough has risen beautifully. So it's about doubled in size.
Yeah, we're good to go. So we've got 200 grams of soft, dark brown sugar here. You can go light brown, but I prefer the flavour of dark brown.
Yeah, it's got that molasses in it,
Yeah,
isn't it? So it's like treacly.
It's just what you want, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, so good. Then we've got cinnamon, of course. 2 tablespoons in here.
2 tablespoons
nice and cinnamon.
Great.
If you don't like cinnamon, you could leave it out. I mean,
like
why would you be making
this?
Now, can you get 1 tablespoon of flour?
Yes, I can.
Shove that in too.
And the flour just helps to kind of bind everything?
Yeah, it kind of stops it from leaking out as much.
Nice.
And then you can just mix this up with your hands. Break a couple of those clumps.
Okay.
Can you sprinkle?
Yes, I can.
Once you've made your dough, before you've proved it like we have here, you can just shove it in the fridge and leave it overnight, and it will rise much more slowly. But it means like if you want to make them the next day, then you can just do that.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Right.
So just whack them out.
Pour it out?
Yeah.
No.
This is like the most satisfying thing to
Look
touch.
at it.
So I usually just start by pushing out with my hands a little bit because it's soft enough that you can do it by hand.
How many is this going to make?
So this should make 12. So if you just need to have like some nice soft butter. Use 80 to 100 grams because you don't need it like a super thick layer. It's just so that the sugar sticks.
Grips. Yeah.
So now we just sprinkle.
Yay!
So this is fun as well. This is basically just a fun recipe, isn't it?
It's a fun recipe. That is a quality coating.
Yep.
Don't be stingy.
No. Because otherwise it's not really a cinnamon roll, is it? So now what we want to do is roll it up. So we've got one long edge and one short edge, and you always want to roll starting at the short edge.
Okay.
Because then you end up with like a fatter cinnamon roll.
Oh,
rather than like lots of skinny ones. Works quite well as a team, doesn't it?
So we're doing all right. Oh my gosh, that looks incredible. Okay, so now we've rolled it up.
Yeah.
Next step?
Cutting.
Cutting. Okay,
So-
do I need a knife or?
Well, I've got a little fun tip for us today. You can cut it with a knife.
Hold on.
Ding! Ding!
Probably another one.
So we've got a bit of string here. So what you do, you want to slide it under so it's about halfway. And then you cross it at the top, and then you pull. And what it does is it creates like equal tension around the cinnamon roll, so that when you cut it, it doesn't squash it.
Yes!
It's really satisfying.
Oh my god, that's so satisfying. And there you have it, perfectly cut. That's
Yeah.
Look at that swirl.
Yeah, you know it.
So yeah, how big a?
So cut them into thirds. So
Thirds.
yeah, that's really good.
Love it.
Yeah.
How many cinnamon roll recipes do you have on your website?
3.
Yeah, nice.
3.
That
Not
is
this
a-
one,
That
though.
is a cinnamon roll
This,
connoisseur.
this is an exclusive for
This isn't it.
Katie.Pix.
Stop it, is it?
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
These are going to have a little bit of a second.
Yeah, a little proof again.
Just
About half an hour, just so that they puff up again, about double in size.
So that makes 12. So we're going to set this aside for about half an hour. Give them a second rise. We'll see you in a bit. Welcome back. Okay, our dough has had about half an hour's proving time.
Yeah.
It's got to perfect consistency. Ooh. So they've puffed up a little bit. They've started kind of drifting towards each other. And now it's time to go into the oven.
Yep.
180 degrees, 25 to 30 minutes, or until gorgeously golden but not looking too dry.
Exactly.
The kitchen has flooded with the most delicious, unctuous smell of cinnamon rolls.
Yes, it has.
And now it's time for the big reveal. Do you want to do the honours?
Should I do the honours? Ooh, my glasses are fogged up.
Oh, you all right?
It's okay. I just call it oven eyes.
going?
It's just, it's okay. I'm used to it.
They look so good. The swirl on those is unreal. Now all that's left to do is to try them.
What's your cinnamon roll eating method?
Just all in.
I like to unpeel.
Do you pull
I
apart?
I'm an unpeel, yeah.
Oh no, yeah, I go in one big
I
mouthful.
like the satisfying, and then you get the middle, which is like the best bit.
I mean, I think we should do that to honour how good that swirl is. Oh! I'm pretty sure
Look
this
at
is
that.
why I went into food. Ready?
Yeah.
Oh, you're a clever, clever lady. Oh, you're very clever. They are unbelievable. I hope you give this a go, guys. If you do, please share your pictures with us both on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of those platforms. Make sure you check out the description box for all of Izy's details. You do not want to miss her food. It's freaking delicious. So make sure you check those out. If you want to subscribe, feel free to do so. And I will see you next week. Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye.
Can I have another one?
Go for it.